Okay, so recently, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe IKEAs has been releasing a lot of strange codes, substitution ciphers that are delivering a message to us. On August 14th, IKEA's tweeted TSP.
Flumbly blubbly blum blub bloop, flombly blub blue blub bloop blop, H4, blue blue blue.
So I can see some Japanese in there, I can see some random stuff like a star or something. Yeah, and people worked it out. L Young says it was TSP.
Question mark.
Lasting life for God did not send his son into the world. Though might he be saved, he who believes in him is not condemned. Or something like this. It's a Bible quote from John 3:17. Which really piqued the community's interest because this is about TSP, one of the most elusive figures in Piggy. The one that was so hyped up during Piggy 1 that we never heard from again. I think they had a stroke or something in chapter 8 and they had to go to hospital for a bit. They had to delay their plans until Piggy 2. But then IKEA's continues posting codes like I'm pretty sure there's a Rick Roll in there. I think that's what that one was. But then she's pinned a tweet. TSP, clue number 2. And the community got cracking to solve this one. The code was found out in like 2 hours. To be fair, we did already know the key, so all we had to do was just substitute it. But we found the code. And the code says, "For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son, that whoever believes in him shall not perish but have everlasting life. For God did not send his son into the world, though might he be saved. He who believes in him is not condemned, but he who does not believe is condemned already, because he has not believed in the name of the only begotten Son of God. And this is the condemnation, that the light has come into the world, and men loved darkness rather than light, because their deeds were evil. For everyone praising evil hearts, the light that his deeds may be clearly seen, that they have been done in God." And this is really interesting because this is obviously a Bible reference. These are the verses from John chapter 3 verse 16 all the way to John chapter 3 verse 20. And nobody has any idea what is going on. However, I've come up with a few fan theories already about just who TSP might be. But firstly, what could this mean? Well, I think this could easily be a statement of what TSP believes or what TSP is. Let's have a look. For the first verse, "For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son, that whoever believes in him shall not perish but have eternal life." So here it's talking about how a God sent their son down to earth, which already sparks heaps of theories. Like, is TSP the son that was sent? Or is TSP the God that sent the son down? Or are TSP the ones who believe this? Because they seem to be more of an organization than a singular person. Although TSP could then stand for a name as well, like the Spirit Potato or something. So this part of the verse kind of tells us what TSP is. They could be the begotten son, or they could just be a religious organization. And by the way, whoever believes in him shall not perish but have eternal life. I feel like that's a pretty important statement there. It's emphasizing how people have to believe to be saved. That's a massive part of a religious organization. "For God did not send his son into the world, though might he be saved. He who believes in him is not condemned, but he who does not believe is condemned already, because he has not believed in the name of the only begotten Son of God." This gives us a motive for TSP, the people who don't believe. It could be not believing in TSP, not following in TSP, not following in an organization, anything, but it's emphasizing that they have a reason to condemn the people that don't believe. And this could easily coincide with the note we found in chapter 8, where Doggy and Foxy got what was coming to them. Could that be they got condemned because they stopped believing, perhaps? And this is the condemnation, that the light has come into the world, and men loved darkness rather than light because their deeds were evil. For everyone praising evil hearts, the light that his deeds may be clearly seen, that they have been done in God. Yeah, this is really interesting. Obviously, TSP seems to be some sort of religious cult at the moment, and this makes sense with a theme, with like an infected apocalypse. If you've seen all those movies where there's like an apocalypse happening, there's pretty much always a group which are like crazy religious nuts to the point of them killing others, who don't follow the rules of their god. So we can easily see what TSP is here. Just like Rat Sans Pagtoon says here, saying, so TSP is Ned Flanders from The Simpsons. Idly ho, neighborino, I'm gonna take over the world. But what if there's some other meanings here? We've got John chapter 3, verses 16 to 20. Now, what could that mean? Verses 16 to 20. Well, I think it's a good idea if we check out the skins. That seems to be the only thing that we can correlate with those numbers, since there's nothing else in Piggy that we can count past 16 with. So let's have a look. So starting with Piggy, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. And notice how we land on devil. That is something extremely interesting and seems to be too close a coincidence to not be related to what IKEA was saying. Because the verses talk about how, but he who does not believe is condemned already. And where are they condemned to?
The Tower of Heck.
Who owns the Tower of Heck? The devil. Also known as Why Exceptional Studios. Okay, so what if we continued from there? Let's keep going. We do still have verses 17 to verses 20. Well, let's have a look. If devil was verse 16, next we have Doggy. And it makes sense as well. Doggy could have been part of the organization. Remember, TSP knew him. He said Doggy got what was coming to him in the chapter 8 note. So Doggy is related to TSP. And then, interestingly, we've got Giraffe, who hasn't really been mentioned in the story yet, save from a little sneak peek in the mall, and Barry, who is part of the hospital. And of course, verse 20, we've got Foxy, who also relates to TSP. So, you know, it's possible that Giraffe and Barry also relate to TSP. If we've had both Doggy and Foxy there should be a common link between these four. The devil and then two known associates of TSP. It's too coincidental to not mean something. And while Barry's infected, Giraffe's still alive. Giraffe is back in the safe house with Mimi Mole and Zizzy's sisters. This could be terrible because everybody, I propose, Giraffe is a member of TSP. Or well, I should say one of the only living members. Giraffe is being the one that is going around exacting revenge on all our friends. On poor Doggy back in the forest. He lives right next to the mall, where we find the majority of notes about TSP, where the note talked about she escaped, but we'll find her. It makes sense if Giraffe was that person, because he was living in the safe house right next door. He could easily just sneak out and do whatever he wants. And just look at that face. How is that not terrifying? If this is true, when we get back to the safe house, we're gonna be in a lot of trouble. But there's also another theory I think we need to look at. The theory that TSP could still be the Super Potato. In fact, I have a theory that's kind of what IKEA's was going for. But then it became too obvious an idea because everybody immediately noticed that the Super Potato existed in Peppa Pig, that she changed her tactic, and she would have had time to. She's had months to think of this. And remember, it's IKEA's that's thinking of this, because Mini Toon has said it was IKEA's who came up with the idea of TSP. And who else would be worshipped as a deity, as the son of God, than the one who has superhuman powers, the one who can fly, the one who has super strength, the man, the myth, the legend, the Super Potato! Is the Super Potato making a comeback? And to be honest, I would love to see that. I would just love to see a cutscene with a flying potato just going up and away and flying off into the night. Whatever happens with Piggy 2 coming out, it's gonna be heckin' exciting. I'm looking forward to it and I hope you are too. Let me know what your theories are down below and what you thought of my theory. Be sure to like and subscribe and I'll see you in tomorrow's video. Goodbye!